everyone, and welcome back. We're diving deep this time into all the cool stuff happening in AI from January 10th to the 17th.
Buckle up.
Yeah, we've got research papers, industry articles, the whole shebang, so let's get right to it. And I have a question for you. While we go through all this stuff, what if AI could do your job by, the end of next year?
That's a good question. And that future might be closer than we think. Like OpenAI, they made a huge splash this week, saying they're going to roll out these AI-powered workforce agents by the end of 2025.
Workforce agents, what's that even mean?
Well, they're being kind of vague right now, but everyone's trying to figure out what it could be. Imagine AI customer service that actually helps you.
Yeah.
Virtual assistants that, plan your whole life. Even AI doing tasks like in finance or healthcare.
So is it just a supercharged chatbot? Or is it something totally new?
Oh, it's definitely a whole other level. We're talking about AI that can understand these complicated tasks, learn as it goes, and make decisions on its own in a way we haven't really seen before.
Okay, so that's kind of exciting, but also a little scary, But can they really pull it off by next year?
It's definitely an ambitious timeline. I
Yeah.
mean, developing AGI, artificial general intelligence at this scale is a massive undertaking. And OpenAI is spending, get this, $700,000 every single day to keep this thing running.
Whoa, $700,000 a day.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a serious commitment. Is that even sustainable, though?
That is the question, right? I mean, it shows how complicated and resource-intensive this whole thing is. Whether they can keep that up, especially if they want everyone to use these agents, well, that's something we'll have to see.
It's like we're on the edge of a whole new world, with AI playing a much bigger role in our work lives. And speaking of big changes, did you see all this stuff about quantum AI this week?
Oh, yeah. The combination of quantum computing and AI is a total game changer. It has the potential to revolutionize everything.
Okay, quantum AI. No, that just sounds intimidating to me. Break it down, what is quantum computing doing for AI?
Okay, well, think about, finance, healthcare, logistics, right? These are all areas where AI is already making an impact. But quantum computing, it just, supercharges everything. We're talking about optimization that happens in a flash, unbreakable cryptography, and predictive analytics that can basically see the future.
See the future? Huh, okay, that's straight out of sci-fi. But can you give me an example? How would that actually work?
Okay, so imagine, using quantum AI to analyze traffic patterns in a city, predicting traffic jams before they even happen, and then, adjusting the traffic lights and stuff to keep things moving smoothly. Or even using it to personalize medical treatments.
Yeah.
Based on someone's genes. Truly personalized healthcare,
So using the power of quantum computing to tackle problems that normal AI can't even touch, that's incredible. But how does it all fit in with the big trends we're seeing in AI right now?
What's really interesting is while we have these huge advancements with AGI and quantum AI, there's also a growing movement toward a more nuanced approach to AI development.
Nuanced? What do you mean?
Well, it's not just about building bigger and more powerful AI. It's about creating specialized systems designed for specific things. It's like moving from one size fits all to a more tailored approach.
So instead of building one giant AI brain to do everything, we're focusing on building smaller AI tools, but each one's a pro at something specific.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right.
More efficient.
And you see it happening with companies like Alibaba. They just came out with Quinn 2.5. It's a series of large language models, but each one has its own special purpose. There's one for text generation, another one for code, one that can even handle images and text together.
It's like a toolbox filled with specialized AI tools, each ready to do a specific job. Makes sense. But what about, people like me who just feel overwhelmed by all this AI stuff? Where do we go to find AI news that isn't all about the big companies and the big breakthroughs?
There's some really interesting stuff happening under the radar. Did you hear about auto feedback?
Auto feedback. Nope. What's that?
So it's this two-agent AI system that can give really accurate and personalized feedback to students.
Wait, AI giving feedback on, homework? It's like a digital tutor?
Yeah, kind of. The idea is to help students get better feedback so they learn more. And it also frees up teachers' time so they can focus on, other things.
I spent years grading papers when I was a student. This would have been a game changer. And speaking of game changers, I've heard a lot about AI being used for drug discovery.
Oh yeah, that's huge. AI is completely changing how new medicines are developed, and researchers are making some incredible progress.
I know bits and pieces about it, but what are the latest breakthroughs in AI drug discovery?
Researchers are using AI not only to discover new drugs, but also to make clinical trials faster, and even personalize treatments, based on someone's genes.
So it's being used across the entire process. That's amazing to think how much faster and more efficient it could become with AI in the mix.
And think about how much more affordable it could be. Imagine if everyone had access to life-saving drugs, not just those who could, afford them.
That's a future I want to see. So we've covered a lot, from AI agents that could take our jobs to quantum leaps in AI capabilities and even AI that can help us learn. But I feel like we've just scratched the surface here.
Yeah, we've got a lot more to unpack. And there are some really cool trends emerging that could, completely change the face of AI in the next few years. Before we go too crazy with all this, we should remember that even with all the hype about AGI and quantum AI, a lot of people are starting to think that bigger isn't always better.
Oh, really? So are we moving away from those, giant AI models? What's causing that shift?
It's not really about getting rid of large language models, but it's more like realizing that they have their downsides. As these models get more complicated, it costs a ton of money and computing power to train them. So there's a big push towards developing these smaller, more specialized systems.
I see. So it's all about finding the right tool for the job, right? A huge language model might be awesome for translating languages or writing different kinds of creative stuff, but maybe not so great for a task where you need more precision and control.
Exactly. And this shift is also happening because people want more transparency in AI development. It's just easier to understand and control how a smaller, more focused AI system works.
Makes sense. But if we're moving away from massive data sets and huge models, how do these smaller AI systems learn effectively?
Well, researchers are coming up with some pretty cool tricks. Have you heard of transfer learning?
I don't think so.
Okay, so imagine you've got an AI model that's already been trained on a gigantic data set, let's say, for recognizing images. Transfer learning basically takes that model and fine-tunes it for a very specific job, like identifying different types of plants.
So you're taking what the model already knows and then teaching it something new. It's kind of like if someone already knows how to cook, you just show them how to bake, right?
Exactly. That's a great analogy. Transfer learning allows developers to create powerful AI without having to start from zero every single time.
Wow, that's really smart. I'm starting to see how this trend towards smaller, more focused AI systems could lead to a lot of cool new things. What are some areas where this approach could be really useful?
Well, think about things where precision and control are really, really important, like medical diagnosis. You wouldn't want a giant language model making life or death decisions, right?
Definitely not.
Instead, a smaller AI system that's specifically trained to analyze, say, a certain type of medical scan could give doctors much more reliable and understandable results.
So instead of having a generalist AI trying to do everything, we're basically creating expert AIs that are really good at specific things. It seems like that could lead to some major breakthroughs.
Oh, absolutely. And this shift also changes how we interact with AI. One area where we're seeing some amazing progress is in controlling how much text AI generates.
Oh, that's interesting. It can be frustrating when you ask a chatbot a simple question and you get back this huge wall of text.
Right. Researchers have been working on ways to give users more control over how long and what style of text AI creates. Imagine being able to tell a chatbot, hey, give me a 3-sentence summary of this article, or write me a poem about this.
That would be incredible. No more wading through pages of AI-generated text to find what you need. So we're talking about AI that not only generates text, but can also adapt its output to what we specifically want.
You got it. This level of control could be huge for things like customer service and content creation.
Okay, this is blowing my mind a little. We've gone from AI agents that could take our jobs to AI systems that can write us poems whenever we want. What does all this mean for us, the regular people using this technology?
That's a question we all need to be thinking about. As AI gets more powerful and becomes a bigger part of our lives, it's crucial to remember that we have a say in how it develops.
Are you saying we need to become AI experts to have a voice in its future?
Not necessarily. But we do need to stay informed about what's happening, ask tough questions about how AI is being used, and demand transparency from the companies and institutions developing these powerful technologies.
So it's about being informed and engaged with AI, not just blindly accepting whatever new technology pops up.
Exactly. We need to really think about the role we want AI to play in our lives and make sure it's being used for good.
Okay, we've had a pretty intense journey through all the latest AI developments, and it's clear this technology is evolving crazy fast. But we've also talked about the need for a more nuanced approach to AI development and using this power responsibly.
And as we think about the future of AI, there's one big question we need to answer. What does all this mean for us?
Okay, so here we are, the big question. What does it all mean for our future? It feels like we've jumped off the high dive here.
Yeah, it's a lot, isn't it? I mean, we've talked about AI reshaping jobs, AI solving these mega complex problems, even AI writing poetry. I get why it feels a bit overwhelming.
Overwhelmed, yeah. Excited, too. A little nervous, definitely curious. I don't know where to start to make sense of it all.
Well, I think the first thing is, realizing this AI future isn't just happening to us. It's something we're building, like right now, with the choices we're making.
So it's not if AI is going to change our lives, but how.
Exactly. And the how depends on what we talk about, the questions we ask, what we expect from the people creating this tech.
Okay, so we can't just sit back and watch. But how do we, actually make our voices heard? Does everyone need to become a coder or an AI expert or something?
No, not at all. It starts with awareness. Just keeping up with what's happening in AI, even the basics, helps us understand what it could mean for us. Then we can talk about how we want AI to be used and what kind of rules need to be in place.
So, being good citizens, not necessarily tech geniuses.
Exactly. But it's also about doing more than just talking. We can actually do things to influence how AI is made and used. Well, we can support organizations that are pushing for ethical AI. A lot of these groups have resources to help people understand AI, and they fight for policies that protect us.
That makes sense. But I feel like we as individuals, in our everyday lives, we can do stuff too, right?
Oh, absolutely. Every time you use AI, like a voice assistant, or when you get a product suggestion online, or even when you see a targeted ad, you're giving data that teaches these systems. So being aware of that, knowing how your data is used and supporting companies that care about privacy and ethical data use, it all adds up.
It's almost like we're voting for the AI future we want, but not just with words, with our actions too.
I like that. We're all part of this big experiment. The more we know and the more we do, the better chance we have of creating an AI world that benefits everyone.
That's a good way to put it. So wrapping up this deep dive, I'm feeling, a lot of things. Excited, a little unsure, definitely still curious, but most of all, I want to learn more, ask questions, and do what I can to shape this AI future.
That's the best way to be. The future of AI isn't set in stone. It's a story we're writing together. And like we've seen this week, the possibilities are enormous.
And don't forget, everyone, we have links to all the articles and research we talked about in the show notes, so check those out. Keep learning, keep asking questions, and until next time, stay curious.